Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Now here's my review of the 2003 Royal Rumble. Yeah, so overall, I think this is a lot like 2002. I think this is a good show, just not a great show. I mean, the show started off pretty mediocre to bad. And the first, I mean, the last two matches on the show, oh, really made the show as good as it was. They really did. Yeah, I mean, there was one great match on the show, and one terrible match on the show. But I'll get to those later in the review. Alright. So yeah, like I said, good show, just not a great show. Alright, so let me get right into it. Show started off with Big Show versus Brock Lesnar, where the winner would advance to the Royal Rumble match. And yeah, this was alright for what it was. Yeah, I mean, it was really short though. It was only about like 6 minutes or something. Yeah, this is a lot like their Survivor Series 2002 match. Yeah, I mean, it was really short but really interesting in the time it lasted. Yeah, Brock Lesnar used a lot of belly-to-belly suplexes on Big Show here, and Big Show was also using some power moves on Brock Lesnar, like his slap to the chest and sidewalk slam and stuff. Yeah, Paul Heyman and got involved in the match a couple of times. He got on the ring apron trying to distract the referee, and Brock Lesnar tried going after him a couple of times. One point he was gonna give Paul Heyman the F5, but when he turned around, Big Show gave him the choke slam, and looked like it might have been it there, but Lesnar kicked out of a pin. Yeah. And then at the end, Brock Lesnar threw Big Show into Paul Heyman while Paul Heyman was on the ring apron. Paul Heyman fell to the floor, and then Brock Lesnar gave Big Show the F5 for the win. So yeah, it was all right. Yeah, just like really short, like I said, like only 6.5 minutes. But yeah, still an interesting match. I give it 2.5 stars. Then next up was the World Tag Team Championship match. Lance Storm and William Regal defending against the Dudley Boyz. Uh, yeah, this was kind of short too. This was only about 7 minutes or something. But I still thought it was pretty good for time it lasted, yeah. And I thought all four guys got tagged in enough, and they all got in enough offense in the match, yeah. It was a really good back and forth tag match, yeah. And there was a lot of double team moves, like, I think at one point both Dudleys gave, I think it was Lance Storm, a face buster or something. At one point they gave Lance Storm the what's up, but they didn't like do the what's up. Yeah, Devon just immediately dove down headfirst into Lance Storm's nuts. And at one point while William Regal was in the ring and Lance Storm was on the ring apron, they gave, I think it was Bubba, double clothesline. Then at the end, the Dudley Boyz were setting up the 3D on Lance Storm. Then Chief Morley came out, tried to distract the referee as Regal was getting the knucks out. And when Regal turned around, he got the 3D. And Bubba took out Chief Morley. As the referee was distracted with that, Devon grabbed the knucks and nailed Lance Storm with the knucks. And then the Dudley Boyz won the World Tag Team titles. But unfortunately, they lost the titles back to Storm and Regal the very next night on Raw. So yeah, what was the point of this? Yeah, but still, overall, pretty good match. Just really short. 2.25. And then next up was Dawn Marie versus Torrie Wilson. This was booked as a stepmother versus stepdaughter match because Dawn Marie had recently married Torrie Wilson's father, and then he died. Yeah, I really was not really a fan of this feud at all. Yeah, but I will say for a Divas feud, this was pretty dark. I mean, especially on the SmackDown before this, when Dawn Marie was presenting like a viewing of Torrie Wilson's father, and her and Torrie Wilson got into it, and Dawn Marie smashed a lamp over Torrie Wilson's head. I mean, damn. I mean, you don't see a lot of abuse to divas like that. Yeah. And, yeah, this really was not really good at all, but, yeah, this wasn't the horrible match I was talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is Diva. A Divas match. I mean, what do you expect, really? Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, it was pretty much what was expected, I'd say. Yeah, the crowd was actually starting to boo this match, yeah. But yeah, this really was not very good, and plus it was not that long. It was only about like 3.5 minutes. Yeah, the only interesting thing in this match was when Don Marie jumped to the corner of the ring and then dived back and gave Torrie a clothesline. Yeah, that's like the only interesting thing about the match, yeah. Like I said, not really very good. One thing you really need to know is Torrie Wilson won. Yeah, so it wasn't really very good, but what do you expect from Divas? Yeah, I give that like a quarter of a star. And then next up was the World Heavyweight Championship match. Triple H versus Scott Steiner. Oh my god. Seriously, Scott Steiner should be ashamed of himself. Alright? This match is one of the worst World Championship matches I have ever seen in my life. Alright? Seriously, I mean, Scott Steiner is not a good worker anymore, alright? He can't even put on good matches like he did when he was part of the Steiner brothers with Rick. Yeah, I mean, he is just awful in the ring. I mean, I remember I told you his Starrcade 2000 title match against Sid really was not good at all. Neither was this. This was absolutely horrible. Alright? I mean, seriously, I mean, they just made Triple H seem very weak to Steiner here. Alright, I mean, it just seemed like Triple H needed Ric Flair's help so much in the match. Like, well, Triple H had the referee like distracted or something. Ric Flair was like choking Steiner once with his jacket. Then he was also pulling Steiner's throat into the ring ropes. Yeah. And and then they were like, Ric Flair was trying to walk Triple H to the back. They were trying to leave, and then Scott Steiner took both of them out. Oh, and then Triple H tried to hit Scott Steiner with the championship, but Steiner then just was able to overpower Triple H and knock the belt back into his face. But it wasn't with the plate part, it was just the part of the strap hit Triple H, and then he got busted open. How does getting hit with a leather strap get you busted open? I mean, seriously. Yeah, and Triple H, he tried, like, shoving the referee and stuff, and the referee wouldn't disqualify Triple H. And Triple H tried to run through the crowd, but Steiner caught him and brought him back. Again, yeah, Triple H just tried to do so much stuff to get disqualified in the match by shoving the referee and stuff. The referee didn't call for the bell. And then in the end, Triple H got a sledgehammer, then nailed Scott Steiner with the hammer, and then he gets disqualified. Oh my god. Yeah, and then afterwards, Scott Steiner takes the sledgehammer from Triple H, and then he puts him in like the Steiner recliner or whatever it's called. I mean, seriously, this was, like I said, this is one of the worst World Championship matches I've ever seen. I mean, seriously, Scott Steiner, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Scott Steiner, fuck you. Yeah, so, really horrible match. Half a star. But then, after a horrible world title match, then we get a great world championship match. Next up, WWE Championship match between Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. This was a great match right here. This is probably one of the best matches of 2003. Yeah, I mean, some people have said, though, that this is their best match ever. This tops, like, all their matches. I don't think so. I still think their WrestleMania 17 match is the best match they've ever had. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's just what I think, alright? I just think this match is kind of sort of overrated. Some people have said it might be match of the year 2003. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Yeah, but it was still a really great match, yeah. I mean, at one point like, Chris Benoit gave Kurt Angle a DDT on the ring apron. Kurt Angle went to the floor, and it looked like Kurt Angle might have broken his nose. I mean, there was actually blood coming from his nose. Yeah. Yeah, but seriously, I lost count of how many, like, German suplexes there were in the match. I mean, there were, like, so many from both Benoit and Kurt Angle, yeah. And there was a lot of counters from, like crossface to ankle lock to pin attempt. I mean, there was just, like, everything in this match, I mean, yeah. And Chris Benoit at one point, as Kurt Angle was, like, in one corner of the ring, Benoit was at the other corner, and then he, like, dove all the way across the ring and connected with the headbutt. Yeah, and at one point Benoit tried to go for it again, I think, and then Kurt Angle charged to the corner Benoit was in and gave a belly blow suplex to Benoit to the canvas, similar to what he did with Kane at WrestleMania 18. Yeah. Then at the end, and Benoit went for another crossface, but Kurt Angle then countered into the ankle lock. And Benoit tried fighting out of it, but he couldn't. Then Kurt Angle gave scissored his legs or whatever around Benoit's leg, and then Benoit eventually tapped down. Kurt Angle won. But yeah, really great match right here. Give this 4 stars. And then we got the Royal Rumble match, yeah. First two entered in the match were Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho, but they didn't draw these numbers. Shawn Michaels was just made the number 1 entrant by Vince McMahon, and then Chris Jericho just selected number 2 the previous Raw before this. Yeah, he was just given the opportunity to choose the number he wanted, and he chose number 2. Yeah, but when during Chris Jericho's entrance, yeah, I talked about this when I made the Royal Rumble Screwjobs video. It was actually Christian dressed as Jericho, and then Jericho popped over behind and gave Shawn Michaels a low blow, and he was just assaulting him for a few minutes, and he nailed Shawn Michaels with a chair, and Shawn Michaels got busted open. Then third entrant, Christopher Nowinski, came out, but he didn't get into the ring for a few minutes. Yeah, he just let Chris Jericho do whatever he wanted to Shawn Michaels, and then he eventually then eliminated Shawn Michaels. So yeah, and there was actually a lot of interesting things happened in this Royal Rumble. Yeah, fourth entrant was Rey Mysterio. He came out, and he was being really acrobatic with Chris Jericho. And then, right as the 10 clock for the next entrant came on, then Christopher Nowinski finally got in the ring. And yeah, Nowinski and Jericho were double teaming Rey Mysterio, and then Edge came out, and Edge was helping Rey Mysterio, and then they beat up both Jericho and Nowinski, and both of them just like rolled out of the ring. And then Edge and Rey Mysterio started going at it. Then the next entrant was Christian, his actual entrance here. And at first, when he came into the ring, he tried to form an alliance with Edge, a brother-brother alliance. He hugged Edge, and he tried to tell him that he wanted to make an alliance with him, but Edge just speared Christian right away. Yeah. 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 Yeah, and then Nowinski came back in the ring as Edge and Rey Mysterio were going at it some more, and Chris Nowinski threw them over the ropes. He thought he eliminated them, but they didn't. And then they both, like, Rey Mysterio gave like a diving drop kick to Nowinski, and then Edge then gave a splash down, and it looked like his feet went into Christopher Nowinski's face. Yeah, and then Nowinski got eliminated. And then next up, Chavo Guerrero. Guerrero came out, and then Tajiri came out. Yeah. Yeah, and then, yeah, then Rey Mysterio eventually got eliminated by Chris Jericho. Yeah, Chris Jericho actually lasted pretty long in this match. He lasted almost 40 minutes in this Royal Rumble, yeah. And then the next entrant was Bill DeMott, aka Hugh Morris. Yeah, he came in. He was beating people up, but he didn't eliminate anybody. I mean, he was just like beating down everyone, but like I said, just no elimination by him, yeah. Then the next entrant was Tommy Dreamer, and then Tommy Dreamer actually brought some weapons with him to the ring, trash cans, kendo sticks, and stuff. And yeah, and as Bill DeMott was like put his head through the ropes, like trying to go after Tommy Dreamer nailed him with a trash can lid. And then nailing people with a kendo stick. And then Edge grabbed another kendo stick, and both Tommy Dreamer and Edge were nailing Bill DeMott with a kendo stick, and then he got eliminated. Yeah. But then Chris Jericho and Christian gave Tommy Dreamer a concerto with a trash can lid, and then Chris Jericho nailed Tommy Dreamer with a kendo stick. And then Tommy Dreamer got eliminated. And then after that, Chris Jericho had a big knot on his head from being whacked with Tommy Dreamer's kendo stick. Yeah. 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 And then, yeah, Chris Jericho then eliminated Tajiri. And then the next entrant was B Squared, aka Bull Buchanan. And when he came in, he started beating people up, but then he got eliminated just like that. Yeah. And then Chavo was thrown over, but he didn't hit the floor. Then Edge gave Chavo a spear through the ropes, and then Chavo went flying out. Yeah. And then Chris Jericho eventually eliminated both Edge and Christian at the same time. Then Jericho was left in the ring alone. And then the next entrant was RVD. And then yeah, RVD came out, and then he lasted long too. RVD lasted over 30 minutes. Yeah. And then Matt Hardy came out, and he was trying to form an alliance with Jericho on RVD. And then next up was Eddie Guerrero. He came out, and then Matt Hardy and Eddie Guerrero were double teaming RVD. Then next up was Jeff Hardy, and for the third year in a row, the Hardy Boys were in the Royal Rumble at the same time. Yeah, but this was after they went their separate ways when Matt turned on Jeff. And Jeff immediately went after Matt, yeah. And Shannon Moore was out at ringside with Matt Hardy, of course. And when Jeff tried to eliminate Matt, like Shannon Moore, he put his legs up to try to prevent Matt Hardy from going out. Yeah. And then at one point, as Jeff was going to give Matt the swanton, and Shannon Moore was just like laying over Matt Hardy, and then Jeff did the swanton onto Shannon Moore through to Matt Hardy, yeah. Then the next entrant was Rosey of 3-minute warning. Yeah. And then yeah, Test came out. Then yeah. Test also came out, and then yeah. Then the next entrant was John Cena, and yeah, really, what was John Cena wearing here? I mean, seriously, he was dressed like an elementary schoolboy or something, yeah. And as he was walking to the ring, he was just rapping about winning the Royal Rumble and stuff, yeah. Yeah, and he rapped basically through the whole time until the next entrant, which was Charlie Haas. Yeah, he came out, and then, yeah. Jeff then eventually got eliminated by RVD when Jeff was like going for a high-flying move, and RVD pushed him down to the floor, yeah. And then next was Rikishi, and yeah, Rikishi entered, and then Jamal, aka Umaga, entered, and then yeah, JR actually brought up that Jamal and Rikishi were brothers. Yeah, Rikishi and Rosey actually were trying to double team Matt Hardy and Shannon Moore, or Rikishi was gonna like give them a double stink face or something, but Rosey turned on him. Yeah, and then Rikishi later on gave Jamal the stink face. And then the next entrant was Kane. Yeah, and then Kane then was beating people up. He was beating up 3-minute warning, and he chokeslammed Rico. Yeah, and then Kane eventually eliminated Rosey. Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, next up was Shelton Benjamin, and then both members of Team Angle, Benjamin and Haas, were teaming up. Yeah. Yeah, and then Eddie Guerrero eventually got eliminated by Booker T. Yeah. And then next up was A-Train, and then A-Train was out there. Yeah, and then, yeah. During this time, then Shawn Michaels came back to the ring and went after Chris Jericho. And, yeah, as Chris Jericho was fighting off Shawn Michaels, Test then and was able to eliminate Chris Jericho. Then afterward, Shawn Michaels dove to the outside of the ring and tried to go after Jericho some more. Yeah, so Chris Jericho was basically screwed here, and so was Shawn Michaels. Yeah, I talked about that last year, yeah. Yeah, and then, yeah, and then, yeah, Maven then was the next entrant, and then, yeah, yeah, Goldust came out, and then Batista came out. Yeah, and both Goldust and Booker T were eliminated, hated by Team Angle. Yeah, yeah, and then next up was Brock Lesnar. Yeah, Brock Lesnar. He basically had the entire night and the entire match to recover from his match with Big Show. And yeah, when he came in, he eliminated both members of Team Angle, and he eliminated Matt Hardy. Yeah. Oh, Test got eliminated by Batista. And then, yeah, as I said, Matt Hardy eliminated both Team Angle and Matt Hardy. Yeah. Yeah, and then final entrant number 30 was The Undertaker, making his return since being attacked by Big Show and thrown off the SmackDown stage. Yeah. And yeah, afterwards, yeah, Undertaker then eliminated Jamal, and then Maven tried to eliminate Undertaker the same way. He dropkicked him from the back, but Undertaker didn't go out as Maven was celebrating. He did, and Undertaker eliminated Maven. And yeah, and then Kane and RVD teamed up to eliminate Big Show. I mean, Big Show, sorry, A-Train. Yeah. And then as RVD and Kane were forming an alliance to beat down Batista, Kane, as Kane was holding RVD up in the air, he then threw RVD over, yeah, and eliminated him. And then it was down to Batista, Kane, Lesnar, and Undertaker. Kane and Batista started going at it, and then when they double clotheslined each other, Brock Lesnar and Undertaker were staring each other down, but Batista and Kane fought both of them before they could lock up. But then, yeah, we eventually did see Lesnar and Undertaker go at it, and Undertaker countered a F5 into a tombstone, yeah. And then Undertaker then eliminated Batista. And then it looked like Kane and Undertaker were going to form an alliance, but then Undertaker just eliminated Kane, yeah. And then Batista tried to come back with the chair, but Undertaker fought him off and then nailed Batista with the chair. And then that allowed Brock Lesnar to throw Undertaker over, and Brock Lesnar wins the Royal Rumble match. So yeah, it was a pretty good Royal Rumble, and it was pretty much interesting from start to finish. So yeah, pretty good Royal Rumble. 3 3/4. Yeah. Overall, the show, I give it about a 7.25 out of 10. Yeah. Like I said, it was mostly due to the last two matches, WWE title match and the Royal Rumble match. Yeah. I mean, yeah, world title match absolutely sucked. But yeah, overall, the show was pretty mediocre until the last two matches. Yeah, as I said, last two matches really made the show good. Alright, so yeah, that does it for my review of the 2003 Royal Rumble. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.